The United States of America. Unity and oneness is what we're made of. One nation under God, it's plain to see. We're showing the whole world what a country should be. United we stand in America, hand in hand in America. Together as one in a land that we love. United we stand in America.
Good morning, everyone out there. Welcome to Changing Times. It is Wednesday, July 15th. This hot month is halfway over, and summer is going to be over before we know it.
Oh, don't say that.
We are show number 300 today. We should
Congratulations,
Well,
Lynn.
I tell you what, thank you for all the things you've done, and Dennis, our volunteer and producer, and everybody, Jim Whining, Paul Collins, everybody that's made this show possible. All the listeners, all the viewers that are always watching in all 50 states. Just almost every week we have people from all over the country. Every state is so important to us, and our country is so important to us. We are live at the Axe Media Group headquarters in Springfield, Missouri, and we're going to have a great show today. It's basically show Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1, we're going to be talking about Amendment 4. It's a very important amendment that is coming up on the August 4th ballot here in Missouri.
Right, it's here in Missouri, but the strategies that we're going to talk about that makes Amendment 4 necessary are used nationwide.
That's right. So that's why this is really important, and I think everyone will get something out of Part 1. Part 2. We'll be talking about Axe Fest. This is something that has been going on for quite some time. It's an annual event. It's occurring this week in Springfield, Missouri on Thursday and Friday, and I'll be talking about that, and then we'll talk about our sponsors. But I'm Lynn Morris.
And I'm Dr. Mary Byrne.
Yes, you are. And I tell you what, Mary, you can go ahead and introduce Cary, and we'll get started on Amendment 4.
Great. This is a friend of mine, Cary Wells. He and I were unpaid volunteer activists on your behalf at the Missouri Capitol. And Cary, I'd like you to introduce yourself to the audience, what you do professionally, and we're particularly interested in what motivated you to join the church that you're in, because we are talking about difference makers in our culture who are motivated by spreading the kingdom of God. So,
well, thank you for having me today. My name's Cary Wells, and I'm with Freedom Principle Missouri. That's the volunteer work that I do that I often get to see you at the Capitol doing.
yeah.
And I guess it was back in the early 2020s, 2021, when we were advocating at city council meetings, and when they were encroaching on our freedoms there. Then there was a group out of St. Louis called Freedom Principle St. Louis, and they were posting. I came across a post from Bev Allen, one of the notable activists in the state, and she was recommending the Freedom Principle position on amendments. So I started looking at them, and I sent them a message and said, hey, I'm not from St. Louis, can I join? And they said, sure.
Yeah.
And then it became Freedom Principle Missouri. We took that activism to the state.
Because you made it statewide.
Well, I was just close to it. Close to it. I won't take the credit for that one, but that's soon got started there on a statewide level. And so we advocate for matters of principle, freedom, looking what the founders said, what their intent was with our Constitution, knowing that very high likelihood that it was divinely inspired, and we do need to maintain it and keep our republic, even on the state and local level, and that's what inspires us to work on a daily basis.
Awesome. And your church?
The church is a real-life church here in Springfield off West Division Street, and I believe that was divinely instructed for me to start attending there. My son was going to youth ministry, and so we would drop him off and pick him up, And he invited us to go after my dad passed away. He was
Who was your pastor?
Who was my pastor. So we went in there and just amazed by the ministry of Pastor Fleener and how he pours out his love to the congregation. But he is so interested in advocating for the unborn and for every issue that we need here in Missouri to keep our freedom and our liberty and justice. And so we have a few of us in the congregation that he will allow us to be part of the services at times and to advocate and to get information out to the voters in our congregation.
Which is so admirable, because God did establish government in the book of Exodus. He established the framework for how his people should be governed in freedom, starting with your own self-governance, knowing his word and knowing how he expects you to behave. And if you follow his precepts for self-governance, you can be free. You don't need the government telling you what to do and stealing from your pockets, because the generosity of charity will be inspired through the Holy Spirit, and members of his kingdom take care of each other. But if you don't have that, then in a secular world, you expect somebody other than you to be taking care of matters, and that's when secular government basically enslaves you, right?
Amen.
Yeah. So that's what I really appreciate about you, is that we're working off the same page. So how did Amendment 4, first explain Amendment 4, what it does, and then tell us how you got involved with advocating for it.
Okay. So I guess I'll start off with the Constitution of Missouri, that it is only modified or changed by the vote of the people. The legislators cannot change our Constitution. It has to be voted on by the people. And so what we've seen here, especially in the last decade, is there has been ever more petitions that come up putting a ballot measure for the vote of the people. But the petition process and these measures that are coming up for the vote of the people are all against our liberties and freedoms and what we hold dear for republic and for self-governance.
Yeah, let's clarify. So it's called the Petition Initiative. It's supposed to give power to the people when the legislature isn't listening to the people. But it's become a tool. There's nefarious forces that study our Constitution, know how to use it better than the people themselves. They pour in money from out of state. Sometimes it's within this country, but one of your issues is that there's international funding sources that are trying to manipulate Missouri's culture through the legislature, well, actually through the Petition Initiative, and they know how to manipulate the voting process so they get what they want, all right? So that petition initiative process has been a bone of contention for a number of years. It needs to be fixed, and that's what Amendment 4 is designed to do.
Right.
So
Amendment 4 just deals with the process for amending the Constitution. So we're looking and focusing on that because that's what of the highest importance. The process to change our statutory regulations is still in place. We're not touching that. If we want to do a recall on a referendum, Amendment 4 doesn't touch that. It's just on amending the Constitution.
right. So one of the examples of how Missouri's petition initiative has been abused by out-of-state funds was the Medicaid expansion. This is an interesting cover, the compassion through healthcare, that people who aren't informed about this out-of-state influence coming into Missouri, or international coming into influences coming into Missouri. If you're not informed about that, you can easily be manipulated into guilt saying, of course we want compassionate care for everybody. Of course we want Medicaid expansion. That's only right. But I'm going to give a real-world example of how Missouri's petition initiative got abused for Medicaid expansion and why, if Amendment 4 had been put in place, it might have been a remedy for the budget problems Missouri is having now. Okay, so this article I'm reading is from the New York Times. The title is How Progressives Flipped the Script on Medicaid Expansion. That says everything. It's that where now the opposition is saying the majority ruled on this Medicaid expansion, that wasn't true at all. What this out-of-state money did was focus on high population areas where the medical industry was a big player, Kansas City and St. Louis. And they targeted the advertising, and I would say false promises of advertising into those voting blocks, and that's what passed. And so now they want to say that was majority rule. I'm going to read you sections out of this article that was published August 4th, 2020, the day the Medicaid expansion, Amendment 2, got passed. And it says 19 states were refusing to participate in the Medicaid expansion of the Obamacare, American Affordable Care Act. And the reason Missouri was refusing to participate in that is because we couldn't afford it. What the federal government does is it promises it's going to subsidize these programs because Medicaid is paid for both by the feds and the state. They'll promise to subsidize it, but there's no marketing or publicity about escalating costs and what happens when the feds are now prohibited from doing what they were doing under Obamacare, which is printing money. All right, so now we have an administration that says, no, what we can't afford, we're not going to pay for. So now the feds are cutting back on their support of Medicaid in order to put the books in order at the national level, which means now that this is institutionalized in our Constitution, the state is obliged to pick it up. And the only way the state is going to be able to balance its budget is to find ways to get people off the rolls, right, which it is doing currently. There's very recent articles about going through the paperwork, finding where there's flaws in the applications and so on, and people are kicked off the rolls. So what happened with this Medicaid expansion is actually there's fewer people getting Medicaid. And that's all background information to give you context for what this is going to say. Chris Jennings, a healthcare strategist who served in the Clinton and Obama administrations, both of those administrations were looking for socialized healthcare. You have to understand, socialized healthcare doesn't guarantee better healthcare at the patient level. What it does is it guarantees money flow into the hospital industry. Okay? So it was the hospital industry that was advocating for this, and they sold it to people and the voters saying you will receive better health care. There really is a disconnect in those two promises. But it wasn't the individual who had the lobbying power. It was the hospital industry. So these guys, here's what it was. These guys came up with a referendum strategy, and that's what we were talking about in this petition initiative. There were people in California that created the Fairness Project, a nonprofit organization created by California Healthcare Workers Union. This is not patient care. This is union dues. Okay. Their strategy was to ask voters to expand Medicaid with state ballot initiatives. In a few years, the Fairness Project's ballot campaigns have gone from an untested tactic to the main approach for expanding the Affordable Care Act's reach. In Missouri on August 4, voters approved a Medicaid expansion ballot initiative extending coverage to 217,000 low-income residents. It is the sixth state to do so since President Trump's inauguration. In other words, this was the out-of-state money's way of overcoming the legislature that wouldn't approve this Medicaid expansion. Missouri's ballot initiative passed with 53% of the vote. That doesn't mean 53% of voters. It means of the people who went to vote, 53% voted for it. But they were concentrated in Kansas City and St. Louis. Those are 2 congressional districts. We have 8 in the state of Missouri, and this is what the design of Amendment 4 is going to be able to address. Okay. Missouri's ballot initiative passed with 53% of the voter turnout. Governor Mike Parson, a Republican, opposed the initiative. I would say he did do it vigorously. He took his opportunity to say it. But since then, we've had a governor who's more vigorous in his support of certain cultural initiatives. Right. Parson argued it would harm the state budget that was already strained because of the pandemic. The financial impact of Medicaid expansion is uncertain and would range from $200 million to extra costs of $1 billion in additional annual savings, said Nicole Galloway, the Democrat who is supporting this. The Fairness Project grew out of a memo that a California union leader wrote in 2014, warning that steep declines in union membership could leave workers unprotected with fewer benefits. Really? Isn't that what unions are supposed to be negotiating for? Unionism is in decline, and there was no end in sight, said Dave Reagan, president of the United Healthcare Workers West. And recently, his group that represents 95,000 hospital workers in California, we still need to give regular people the opportunity to have positive change in their lives. In his memo, Reagan proposed creating a nonprofit that would use the ballot initiative process to secure policies that would benefit workers, like increased access to health care. Okay, that's a special interest group that is messaging, oh, everybody will be able to benefit, but their true motivation was self-interest. Not all of his union members were enthusiastic about the project. Some questioned why dues paid in California would be spent running campaigns in the Midwest. But the initiative had enough support that the United Healthcare Workers West Executive Board, you see how the support for this kind of thing is smaller and smaller. It's not the general populace. It's these elite groups within groups that are running this show. The Fairness Project began in 2016, starting with ballot initiative campaigns for increasing the minimum wage in California and Maine. So Maine was targeted, Nebraska was targeted, Oklahoma was targeted, I believe it was also Utah and Florida. They said the Fairness Project does not disclose its list of donors. That's where you come in. You're going to be exposing some of that. And declined to provide one of these lists to the New York Times. The lack of transparency has led to some criticism of the group because it makes it harder for voters to know who's supporting and organizing the ballot measures. This is the problem with petition initiatives, amending the Constitution. It's being done by out-of-state entities with out-of-state money, but they're saying that it's the majority of Missourians that voted for it. No, we didn't. It was the majority of the voter turnout, not the majority of Missourians. Such post-ballot resistance prompted the Fairness Project to revise its strategy from its 2020 Medicaid campaign in Oklahoma, and it used that revised strategy in Missouri. The ballot organizers pursue statutory or constitutional initiatives. He said you need a substantial campaign entity, especially in states like Florida, where every region is like its own state. That's pretty much what we have in Missouri. 6 out of the 8 congressional districts have a particular profile, but if you target the high population areas in those 2 congressional districts, then you can flip the script in Missouri with this progressive agenda that the rest of the state didn't vote for. So that's the segue into what Amendment 4 will do. Tell us about that.
Okay. So to make sure that you're well connected and informed, the best place to go is freedomprincipalmo.org. I'll say that one more time, freedomprincipalmo.org. And there we have the information that corroborates your evidence. Here's the picture of the state of Missouri when they passed the Amendment 3. How many counties actually were
And that was the
involved?
abortion issue
That
in
was the
2024.
abortion in 2024.
So it was Medicaid, abortion, and marijuana. They used the petition initiative.
Right. And
out-of-state money
and the
did.
gaming, too.
And gaming.
All of that came through.
So all of these, you might say, socially destructive amendments to the Constitution were not initiated by Missourians.
Not at all.
And so what your map shows is that there were three main areas where the abortion amendment, Amendment 3, got passed. 3 out of 8 congressional districts. Yep.
And so we've done the research. There's a 1630 fund, and there's a political arm of a group called Arbellas.
Arabella.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know it.
And it's funded by a Swiss billionaire named Hans-Georg Weiss, donated more than $10 million on the Amendment 3.
So you've got globalists wanting to further a globalist agenda for population control. That's what that was.
Right. And when we had that Proposition A back in 2024 that put all kinds of constraints on businesses on what kind of benefits they had to make available, bankrupting so many small businesses, that was $2 million that was donated straight from the Soros Fund on that.
Oh, only $2 million?
Yeah, only $2 million. That's all it took, unfortunately.
That's all it took, yes. Right.
So that's what Amendment 4, it bans the foreign influence. And that's one
Because
thing.
they can't have a majority of they say it's the majority of the state, but it's really a concentration of high population areas.
Right.
What Amendment 4 does, it says you have to have a majority in each congressional district.
Correct.
Which is going to basically require them to be more statewide in their campaigning and try to affect more people rather than just target where they know they have the votes.
Correct, because that's direct democracy that brings mob rules, and that's really what we're trying to guard against.
Right,
And
which is why you have an electoral college, by the way.
And speak of that, that's a petition that's going to come up probably in November that takes away the electoral college voting in Missouri and does proportional like Nebraska. So that's what's coming down the pipe. That's why Amendment 4 is so important.
Because they will try to use the petition initiative again to destroy the structure of our Constitution.
Correct. And they're already going after parental consent for education. That's another one that's just down the pipeline. They're all stacked up here, one after the other. And Amendment 4 is so vitally important that we stop that. If there's going to be a change to our Constitution, it shouldn't be a partisan. It shouldn't be Republican-led or Democrat. It should be the citizens of the state, just like our founding fathers intended, consent of the governed.
Right. At that time, when the petition initiative was set up, there weren't as many globalist billionaires trying to mock our government and our freedoms by controlling it with their money, basically through a study of our Constitution to find out its loopholes so that they could pass through them. That's what this is.
Exactly.
So our petition initiative process it has a serious loophole. And what this does is close it to try to, again, restore the power to the voters by saying voters in every district must vote as a majority for this thing. Right? Whatever the issue is.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll hear some people say that, well, what will happen in 20 years when the legislature flips to to the other side? The Democrats get in there. It's already flipped. That they already hold the power to our Constitution, and that's why we have to change Amendment 4.
Right. It's not at the state level. They hold the power at this international level.
Right.
Yeah.
So us citizens that are involved here on a local level, I mean, the playing field is so unequal. We're going against global billionaires
That's
that
right.
want to change us, and,
Right.
and we're here doing
Don't be deceived by
podcasts
their
and
marketing campaigns saying this is a Missouri thing. It's not.
So, Cary, what do you think when I sit there every day and watch news and watch these political ads, and on Amendment 4, they're just not telling the truth.
That's right.
And it's hundreds of millions of dollars. It's not from Missouri, like you said, like you guys have said. I mean, people need to know this can happen in other states. It can happen in your state where you live. That it's outside money. It's usually, like you said, billionaires, and they got plenty of money to throw around.
And to have researchers study your state's constitutions to find its
I
loopholes.
tell you what. So I'm really worried that people are going to be confused and vote the wrong way.
And that's why we've invested the resources we have. We have the signs, yard signs to get out. We have the website set up. We're going to all the town halls that we can. And so it's going to be a grassroots effort with some probably divine help that gets this, changed. I seen, on my phone, you'll see these pop-ups from different news agencies. Last night, NPR popped up. They had the story about the Missouri Amendment 4, and that was a national story on NPR yesterday. That's how important it is to these socialist type movements.
Because NPR is now funded by this progressive money again, because the Congress defunded them from public funds. So now this is all driven, their messaging is driven by the progressive organizations.
Yeah, maybe they need to change that NPR to NPR, Marxist Public Radio.
The point is that they use deceptive strategies in their marketing campaigns. They use any legal loophole to persuade you that this has been done on the up and up. And it doesn't take money to get out and vote. It takes effort to get out of your house and vote to preserve your own liberties. That's what Jefferson was talking about. You have to educate the people because rights and liberties will be protected by the people. But that's only if you use the powers the Constitution gives you, and that is the right to vote.
And again, freedomprinciplemmo.org, we have a campaign initiative in the St. Louis area. I believe there's right around 50% of those who will vote on this amendment come from that area. We are flooding the airwaves with Amendment 4 information to let the voters know how important it is they can get out the vote. And the more money we receive from there, it doesn't take a whole lot. But the more money we receive, the more advertisements we're going to get.
Because they're one of the high populated areas. Yeah. So, let me see where else we were going with this.
Let me ask a question real quick, too.
Feel
so people
free.
always say this. Do I vote yes or do I vote no? Does a yes mean a no and a no mean a yes? But in this particular amendment,
It's yes on 4.
a yes on 4, and it's just a yes. It's not saying anything else. You just need to know
Yes on 4.
that you need to vote yes on this. If you want to make all 8 congressional districts be important, all votes count. And the majority, is it just majority plus 1? I mean, they don't have to win by a certain percentage each district.
No, it would be a simple majority
Simple
in each
majority.
district, which gives you that consensus, statewide consensus.
And I think that, to me, I'm just one person, but I'm thinking about how fair that is. It's just a simple majority. They didn't stack it, say you got to win by 10% or whatever. All the smaller, more rural areas in this state are, in my opinion, just as important as the big cities in this state. And so it just equalizes, and I think it makes every vote count. I just hope that people vote yes on Amendment 4. It will make a big difference in the success of our state and our country.
Right. How do we get yard signs from you?
freedomprinciplemmo.org. put the request in there, and we'll get it to our network across the state, wherever you're at.
Okay. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
How do they, is there any kind of place that they can go to and find more information?
Yes, freedomprincipalmo.org. And if you're in the Springfield, Greene County area, you can go to the Republican headquarters there on Sunshine, close to National, and we have our signs there too.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Thanks so much. You have a busy morning, right? So I'm going to give you this because I think you'll be able to read it for yourself and to others, and
Appreciate that.
because it's a real world example, and it names names. You
Thank
know,
you.
who is coming in from out of state and then calling themselves the Missouri majority, okay? All right, well, thanks so much, Cary,
Thanks
for
for
coming.
very
having me.
good to meet you. Thank you very much. You're a difference maker, and God bless you.
Thank you.
I tell you what, people, we need to make sure we know what we're doing in our state of Missouri and around the country. Our freedom, everything that we know and blessed with can change very quickly. So, all right. Well, the next thing I want to do is I want to talk about Axe Fest. This is an event that's going on. I actually thought has it been going on around 30-some years, Dennis? 32. Yeah, Paul Collins, Dr. Paul Collins was the founder of Acts Ministry, and now Jim Whining, and we've continued it after Paul started it. And Acts Fest is an event every summer that we have, and we invite people from all over the country. And we realize that most people cannot come to Springfield, Missouri, and participate. But I think the easiest way to know how to follow this, and you can watch it after the fact and things like this, is because lots of the portions will be taped and recorded so you can see them later. So I would just do this, and this is always a thing that you need to know for Acts Ministry and Changing Times. Just go to 4321ACTS@gmail.com, and someone will respond right away and tell you how to watch and monitor Axe Fest. And let me tell you what's going on about Axe Fest. And I am probably one of the dumbest. I like the word dumb. Don't say dumb to anybody else, but I'm okay with me saying dumb about myself. I'm really not very good with computers. Okay. I can use my computer, I can use my cell phone, I can do certain things, but it's always been a challenge for me, not like the young people and other people. But this is going to be interesting. Think about this. This 2-day event, July 17th and 18th, we're going to learn more about media and AI in the ministry. We're going to experience hands-on media in the studio. So we're going to actually have computers, laptops, cell phones, different things that we're going to
With our
work
own
with.
Dennis Everson.
Yeah. So, I mean, somebody like Dennis Everson that knows a lot of stuff about computers. We're going to be informed about social media platforms and connections with individuals and groups and et cetera. We're going to also discuss about learning and volunteering and broadcasting ministry. There's a lot of opportunities getting the word out, and we need to be able to know more about that. Reaching the different age groups, languages, lifestyles, and at work. That's what 94X, when I went there yesterday, Faith and Business Breakfast, for over 400 people there. And the speaker there yesterday will be a speaker here in the next 3 or 4 weeks. He will be absolutely amazing for you all to listen to. Banquet dinner, love offering, we're going to have that. Just all kinds of things, recognizing leadership and its necessity. We'll have prayer time. We'll have inspiration and Holy Spirit presence and invitation through the Acts Fest 2026. So there's all kinds of things going to go on Thursday and Friday, July 17th and 18th. Pray for that. Be a part of it. You can be. You don't even have to live in Missouri to be a part of it. Oh, it's Friday. I'm sorry. Friday and Saturday. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I'll be working at the courthouse on Thursday. So Friday and Saturday, we'll be doing that. So I think that's extremely important, but I wanted to mention Axe Fest. And then I want to talk about our sponsors. We have two great sponsors, and the first one is Brad Pistow. He's a certified fiduciary financial planner located in Ozark, Missouri, and used to be called Trinity Investments, and now it's called Ozarks Retirement Group. And their phone number, that's why you need a pencil and paper. Their phone number is 417-581-9222, 417-581-9222, and he's located in Missouri. Okay, I got 49 other states that we're part of, and you can say, okay, well, I don't care anything about him. Well, he's licensed in 18 states. That's still not half of them, but that's a lot of them. But he also knows business associates in all the states as he travels the country and speaks about retirement planning. He has 2 books out, Safe Money Matters, Bulletproof. Both of those books are #1 best-selling books on retirement planning. He is an expert. He contributes to Wall Street, USA Today, all kinds of publications. He's New York Times. You had an article a while ago on New York Times. He's actually written articles for New York Times on investments and retirement planning. This guy knows what he's doing, and he's a strong Christian. You can trust him that he's been doing this for many years now, and you can trust him. If you call that number, 417-581-9222, Lisa's going to answer the phone and give you information. She'll send you information. She'll even send you one of those books. You don't have to pay him anything. He does not charge to consult. You can consult over the phone, or you can consult in person. And I highly, highly recommend him. He has a saying that I absolutely believe that is true. He believes that if you do the proper retirement planning, you will never run out of your life before you run out of money. I know a lot of seniors worry about that. With the cost of living going up all the time, it seems to never stop. That's a great thing to have, that peace of mind. I would say something like a good financial retirement plan and knowing Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Those two things.
That's a good retirement plan.
Yeah, it is a great retirement plan, because everybody's going to go to the same best place, and so you're going to retire at the best place. So honestly, that's our first sponsor. I just love the guy. He's helped us a lot. He's helped a lot of people. He donates every time we ask him to donate and help causes. He's always there. Springfield Nissan, Springfield Kia, they're our other sponsor. That is John Whittaker, and he's the owner. And then we have Aaron Swanson, and he is the general sales manager.
General sales manager extraordinaire.
He is. I mean, these guys are just absolutely awesome. Okay, and I know what you're going to say. They're in Missouri. They're in Missouri. So what's that going to help me? Well, they do sell cars to 8 different states, people from 8 different states, and that's still not all of them. So we can't help everybody on this one. But if you have anywhere close to Southwest Missouri, Springfield, Missouri area, they just are actually, they're located on South Campbell and Springfield. They have new cars on one side and used cars on the other. They specialize in program cars, and they specialize in certified cars. They're a little bit more expensive, but let me tell you what, they are perfect to drive many, many miles before they ever have a problem. So that's a good source. They just have a brand new showroom, the Kia showroom, and that's exciting. Last night, I bought a Kia. I bought a Kia Sorento last Labor Day, and you bought a
Nissan Rogue.
Nissan Rogue. Not too long ago either. In January. And so they do specialize in Nissans and Kias. But guess what? Last night, I had a red Kia Sportage parked in my garage.
For Janet.
for Janet. Now,
Yeah.
we're not going to stick with
She
red.
likes those little red cars.
Well, she does, but we've decided to go back with white. So we've ordered a pearl white car, and but it will be here in the next few days. But here's what they did. She left her car up in Springfield, and then she drove the red Sportage home, Kia Sportage home, and we're going to keep it the whole weekend and the rest of the week. And then next week, when the other car comes in, we're going to give him back. So this is how much trust they have in people, and how, some places you go to look at a car and the salesman sits in the back seat and he's all hunched up right in between the front seats. Have you ever had that happen?
I did
It kinda
not.
makes you-
No,
it kinda
Aaron
makes
just
you
handed me the
nervous.
keys and said, "Take this for a spin."
Well, other dealers, I've honestly
Yeah.
had people like, they'll either sit in the front seat if you're only person driving, or they'll sit in the back seat and they're watching everything you do, and just, it doesn't make me want to buy a car. So we highly recommend these two guys. But also, I wanted to show, I asked Dennis if this shows up. So look at this. In a world where you can be anything, in this country, I'm thinking about all the countries that have come over for the soccer tournament. And now we're getting down to the semifinals. And the finals is Sunday. So I think today is the semifinals. But we've had so many people from all over the world come in and just amazed about our country, bragging about our country, everything they see and do, hear, feel, taste, everything. They're saying our country is so great.
And that they had been lied to.
And they've been lied to because the media that they've seen wherever they live depicts a different country than what we really are.
Because they're now experiencing the hospitality of American people.
That's right, because our people are the best people. And so just be kind. Be kind, even for some of those people that aren't so kind to us, because I think we're still going to prevail. I saw today on the news as I was getting ready to come here, the Democratic Socialist Platform has been released. Mm-hmm. And it's not a platform that the majority of Americans are going to be voting for a long, long time. They want to abolish the Senate. They want to open the borders back again. They want to eliminate prisons. They want to eliminate law enforcement. You want to go back to the wild, wild west, no rules, no regulations. You're just lucky if you can live one more day. Is that what you really want? And there's nothing free. They offer everything free, and there's never been a socialist country that's ever survived and been successful.
No. If you no longer have control over how you spend your money, you are now a slave to the system that has promised everything. And trust me, they're just messaging. They're not thinking about your prosperity, how they can make life better for you. You are the only person who has stewardship over that. So you don't fall for their messaging. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's extremely important. But anyway, yeah, I think we've had a great show. Next week, we're going to have the history of the Missouri Highway Patrol. Most states have some type of form of law enforcement that is called the Highway Patrol. They have different names to them and stuff like that. But we've got a guy that's a historian that just retired from the Highway Patrol after 27 years. And he goes around and talks about the history of the Highway Patrol. I think it's very interesting. Our very first show, 300 shows ago, was the Highway Patrol came in and talked about human trafficking. Here we go, show number 301. This is the second time we've had the Highway Patrol, but I really respect those guys. I've gotten tickets from them, but they don't make me mad.
You made donations.
Well, they
is that
don't
right?
make me mad so much as when I get stopped by the local police for going 10 miles over the speed limit. There's something about a little bit more professionalism, I think. But I mean, I respect all law enforcement. I think it's important. But dadgum, I tell you what, I've had some nice ones that let me off, and others that didn't, and that's it's a good thing. So our country has to have law enforcement. We're a country that we do have rules, and we abide by those rules. So, all right. So I just want to let everybody know to have a great weekend, and we'll be back next Wednesday. Be sure and tell your friends and neighbors about our show and
Axe Fest.
And about Axe Fest. I'm excited to be here on Friday and Saturday and see what's going on. So, hey, thank you. God bless.